Hello and welcome once again to day 2 of our live stream coverage of SFA's 47th annual Winter Fancy Foods Show 2023, coming to you live right here from Las Vegas, Nevada at the Las Vegas Convention Center. My name is Susan Choi. I am your host for the next 2 hours, and we're bringing you great coverage, live coverage, on-the-ground coverage of this wonderful show. We have a great aerial shot that I'd like to show you right now. Brittany, if we could take to that, my wonderful producer. You can see the floor is open. It was open at 10 a.m. and the exhibitors are excited. The attendees are excited. They want to see good products. The exhibitors want to show their awesome products, and it's all about getting those purchase orders and making those connections. That's why this show is so important, and I'm so happy to be with you today. I am actually from the Food Institute. We're a media company that focuses on the food and beverage industry in a business context. Think of us as the Bloomberg of the food industry, and we are really happy to be collaborating with SFA to provide you with live stream coverage of this show. We did it last year at Summer Fancy Foods 2022 in Javits Center in New York City, and once again we are here bringing you all the actions from the show floor straight to your home. Please check us out for all great content that we produce at www.foodinstitute.com. I want to take a quick moment to honor this day. This is a special day. This is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Let us take a moment to honor Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a pillar of our community, of our country, a model figure, for a pioneer, a champion of the civil rights movement. He was born January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. He dedicated his life tirelessly to the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s, championing rights for all African Americans. He paved the way for civil rights through peaceful, nonviolent disobedience. He is arguably most well known for his I Have a Dream speech given at the Lincoln Memorial in 1963. Dr. King has been, and to this day remains, an influential figure to us all. Thank you for taking a moment with me to honor this great man. I know that SFA has some great things planned. They did show a wonderful piece on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to honor him, honor his life and his work. I'm sure you can find out more about it on specialtyfood.com. All right, we're going to take it now to our very first guest. I'm so excited to have him here. He is a great figure, an expert within the food industry. He's helped so many brands. He's helped so many stores. And he has a great eye for what the consumer, who the consumer is, what they want, and so much more. I'm really excited to get into it with you. Your name is Paco Underhill. He is an author, a speaker. He is the author of the best-selling book, Why We Buy: The Science of Shopping, and you've just come out with a new book, How We Eat: The Brave New World of Foods and Beverages. Paco Underhill, thank you so much for joining us.
Susan, thank you for having me here. It is my pleasure to be back in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, where the action is, right?
You know, I have worked here on and off for almost 25 years.
Really?
And it is great to see that one of the more remarkable engines about taking money out of people's pockets is doing just fine.
That's very well said. I love that. Okay, I want to get into it with you. I don't want to waste another minute. Tell us about this new book, How We Eat. Tell us about it.
The premise was here that having worked for 35 years in the broader food industry across 6 continents, and having turned almost 70,
I don't believe that.
I looked at myself in the mirror and said, I think I should write a book about helping to adjust your prescription on how you consume and helping you get to a healthier version of yourself and for us to get to a healthier version of our planet. It's time for us to make some changes or adjustments.
Exactly. Okay, so you've mentioned yourself. You have your career precedes you. You've been in many countries, on many continents. Your work is you have such a canon of work here, helping stores, right? Helping brands. Can you tell me what are some things that stores need to look out for when they want to appeal to their customers, what are some key pieces of advice that you would give to
All right.
stores?
First of all, I think one of the things that we need to do is to divide what are the biological constants. What are the things that have stayed the same? We are all, 90% of us are right-handed. Our eyes tend to age in the same way. We tend to adore our children and hopefully like our spouses. Okay? We react to density issues. But one of the things that makes retail interesting is that it is a reflection of the changes in us. That what made a good store in 2010 and what makes a good store in 2023 are different. And they are a reflection of the evolution of us. And there are 6 things, Susan, that we have been tracking. First is our relationship with screens. Has shifted the connection between our eyes and our brains. And the fact that there is no more separation between the physical and cyber world. Second is the evolution of gender, meaning that historically we sold you food, cosmetics, and apparel. But today, you are one of the most important buyers of technology. And if I go to a technology store, there's often a direct relationship between the success of that location and the number of women working on the floor. Third is generational. And while those differences existed, those differences are even more extreme today between Generation Y, Generation X, much less aging baby boomers like me, meaning the way someone consumes at 55 and the way someone consumes at 2025 has gotten much more different. Next issue here is time. And that if you think of it, through the 20th century, we designed stores to be able to hold people for as long as we possibly could. And today, almost everybody has a clock ticking inside their head. And that clock ticks at a very degree of loudness. For every time you walk in the door of whether it's a shopping mall or a grocery store, willing to spend some time, there's another time where you're desperate to get in and out as quickly as you can. Fifth issue is what is global and what's local, which is particularly in the food industry, that the way someone consumes in Austin, Texas, and the way someone consumes in Duluth, Minnesota, much less the way someone consumes in Seoul versus Incheon, okay, are different. And that one of the challenges that our merchant community has is understanding what works everywhere and what needs to be adjusted for local. And the final issue is, again, a poignant one in our world of retail, which is that money has gotten younger. Meaning that while there is an aristocracy out there that understood why does this product cost one price and this similar product cost 3 times as much, they understand that difference. But part of what we need to do today is that often, in order to make the sale, we need to educate. And whether that's in the apparel industry, getting us to understand that fewer, better things, or within food, that getting us to consume seasonally, getting us to consume locally, getting us to understand processed foods is one of the ways we get healthier. And Susan, in writing this new book, I took my own advice. And I lost 30 pounds in 18 months.
Wow.
I had somebody who saw me on stage today and said, Paco, I almost don't recognize you from 10 years ago.
Well, good for you. Well done. I love to hear that. That's wonderful. My goodness. Paco, thank you so much for the answer you just gave. So thorough, so comprehensive. The first thing that came to my mind as a follow-up question is, has it gotten harder for stores and for brands to reach to the consumer? You've mentioned a lot of things that we need to be thinking about.
I think one of the things that I believe fervently is that modern day management has gotten obsessed with screens. Okay? And that they're making decisions sitting down. They're making decisions based on spreadsheets. And that one of the keys to particularly retail is getting to the front lines. So one of my pieces of advice for senior management of virtually any retail chain is that you need, as a senior manager, to spend at least one weekend a month on the floor of stores. Okay. Out there, watching your troops work, talking to them, seeing what they do, and that will help you make your decision over the course of the rest of the month.
That makes a lot of sense. Boots on the ground. I mean, I feel the same way about journalism. I agree with you. We're on our screens. We're reading too many articles. We got to get out there. You need a pen and pad and shoe leather. That's what my journalism professor was telling me.
Susan, one of the things I often talk about is I believe in rubber-soled shoes. Okay? And that is being able to understand thinking standing up. Okay?
I love
and that thinking standing up is one of the ways that we get to better leadership.
Yes.
And we get to better decision making.
Okay. Another question I have then is, what is your thinking then about when it comes to automation, robotics, AI? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Are there benefits to that?
I think one of the things, first of all, I serve on the board of a number of AI companies.
Okay.
One of the things that I know is that collecting data in the 21st century is really easy. And that your success isn't the scale of the pile of data you collect. It's what you're able to do with it. Okay? For example, we have a web analytics tool that we call a Web-along, which is a software package that we recruit specific customers. They load our software onto their laptops or their phones, and we can watch and talk to them as we direct them to shop or interact online. And part of what we're looking at is what they're not doing that we'd like them to do. And in 2022, 2023, the company that I founded, our largest clients are global technology companies. And part of what we've been able to do with them is to look at not clickstream data, which is about what people are doing, but Web-along data, which is about what they're not doing that we'd like them to do. And that's been a very effective tool for the web design community. I think one of the challenges which we're facing, and I think the reflection that we're seeing in the stock market now, is that some of the romance of technology is disappearing. And it's time that we brought a reality check in, because we need to collect data that affects positive change.
I love that. I bringing it back to the human connection, as we said before, getting out there, getting on the store floor. I love what you just said, pointing out what technology is not doing that needs to be done. Getting back into your book, one thing I really loved is your observations of what's happening currently in our culture in terms of the consumer. For example, you pointed out things like supermarket parking lots, something that brings a lot of headache to the consumer. Taking that and being creative about that space. Talk more about that particular observation you have. I feel like that's a very salient point.
I mean, first of all, the cutting edge of supermarket design left North America more than 30 years ago. So if you ask me where some of the best supermarkets in the world, there are places in the world where money is young.
Yes.
Here in North America, in Western Europe, money is old. It's over age 55. And some of it is, if you go to other parts of the world, they understand, for example, that the shopping experience starts and ends in the parking lot. I will often take, a group of senior executives, and I'll walk them out into the parking lot. And I said, when was the last time any of you felt creepy here? And they'll go look at them and go, what do you mean? I said, generally, if I ask a group of men, when was the last time they felt creepy in a parking lot? They go, never. But if I'm with a group of women and I go, when was the last time you had an experience in a parking lot that made you uncomfortable? They can often give me something that happened with in the past week. And one of the things that we know, just pure and simple, is that often a female's choices in where she does her shopping are often governed by how well she feels. Can I give you an example? I am living now in Madison, Connecticut. There is a Stop and Shop, there's a Big Y, and there's a ShopRite. Which one is the farthest store away? It's the ShopRite.
Okay.
But I have picked up on the fact that the first two stores aren't happy stores. Whereas the ShopRite, which is the only one of the three that's managed by a female, is a happy store. And I can feel it just walking the floor.
Makes a difference. That's so interesting. Again, I mean, all about the human connection, the human feeling. I mean, people, consumers, that's an impact that they have on that. Such a great observation that you make in your book, along with many others. The name of the book, How We Eat, The Brave New World of Foods and Beverages, written by the one and only Paco Underhill, your go-to source for getting inside the consumer's head. Paco, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, Susan, it is my pleasure. Kamsahamnida.
Very good. Very good. Charaseo. Thank you. He knows how to speak my language. I am from Korean ethnicity. Thank you, Paco. I'm very impressed. All right, we're going to take it over now to the show floor where all the action is. And I am so excited to introduce to everyone. We've got a guest host, the first time in SFA Livestream history. Her name is Sheree Williams. She is the publisher of Cuisine Noir magazine. She is a great friend of SFA, and I'm so happy to introduce her to you all today. She is in front of the Diversity Pavilion. Thank you so much, Sheree, for joining us. And tell us, I'm giving it to you, what are you seeing out there in the pavilion?
Awesome. Thank you, Susan. I am so excited because, as you can see, it is so busy out here. But we're going to go over to the Diversity Pavilion and talk to a few producers. I'm loving the creativity this year. Just so many businesses are so passionate about what they're bringing, the ingredients that they're using. And we're going to get into some of the stories behind what they're doing. So the first one we're going to come to is Wonder Monday. And I'm going to be talking to Jonathan, our founder. Jonathan, if I steal you? Oh, hi, we're going to talk to Candace. We've got Candace, who's one of the founders as well. How are you, Candace?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about Wonder Monday.
Yeah, so Wonder Monday, we make high protein, low carb, no sugar added cheesecakes that taste just like the real deal. Lots of folks are sampling. We're really excited to be here.
What flavors do you offer?
Yeah, we offer 5 different flavors. We have the classic New York, the strawberry bliss, the salted caramel, the key lime pie, and the chocolate decadence. And we're launching 4 new flavors this year.
Awesome. So what I love about this product is the low sugar. There's a story behind that. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I think for us, Jonathan and I, we founded the company in late 2021, and we just went into the grocery store and we couldn't find a cheesecake that fit our lifestyles because every single cheesecake that you saw was filled with sugar and had so many calories and artificial preservatives that we didn't want to eat. And so we got straight to work and made a cheesecake that's low in sugar, no added sugar, so there's only 1 gram per serving, and low carb, high protein, and gluten-free.
Wonderful. So it's a nice single serving. Tell me about why you decided on that.
Yeah, like whenever you go into the grocery store, you see a gigantic cheesecake, and aren't you just like, oh my God, I want to eat that? But they're just like, no way you're going to bring home a gigantic cheesecake. So what we love about these are they're portion controlled, and you just get to snack on these. If you want to share it with a friend or a partner, then you get to do that. Or else you just put the cap on, back in the fridge, and you save it for later.
What's your background, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, my background is in tech. So CPG is completely new to me, but it's so wonderful to have such a wonderful community of folks. The CPG world is so sweet. And yeah, I previously worked at Weight Watchers. And so very deep in the health and wellness world and really passionate about helping people make healthy habits.
Where can we find you?
Yeah, so we sell and ship nationwide to all 50 states at wondermonday.com. And we are planning to be in retailers soon this year with our launch of our new product. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Candace. Exciting. Best of luck to you. Wonderful. All right, we're going to head on over to another producer here on the floor. Oops, excuse me. And we're going to head on over here to, and she's here tasting today. And no problem. You know what? And actually, how about Susan? We're going to go on over to here to this gentleman, Justin. Hi, Justin. You are live. And we're going to be talking to some of the producers here today. So tell us a little bit about your company.
Yeah, so we are Urja. It's 100% cold crafted coconut water. It's actually coming from Kerala, India. So compared to other shelf stable coconut waters, we don't pasteurize it. So it's just nothing added. It's 100% cold coconut water.
Wonderful. And tell us a little bit about your story and how you came to make the product.
We are sourcing it from Kerala. That's the place I grew up. And it's Kerala is called Land of Coconuts. So it's full of coconuts. I grew up around coconuts. So I'm bringing it part of my heritage to the US.
So tell us a little bit about your background and what made you get into saying, you know what, I'm going to develop a coconut water product based on where I grew up and how I grew up.
Sure. So coming from Kerala, I grew up around coconut. So I'm in the US for around 20 years. I used to work in tech, and I was looking at all these coconut waters, and finally one day I found like there's nothing comparable to what I tasted in Kerala. So I went back to India and started working on it. So that's what had happened.
So coconut water in recent years has really grown in popularity. Again, what are some things that distinguish your coconut water from what's on the market?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the difference between other coconut waters, we are the comparable ones. We are half the sugar compared to other brands on the shelf, and also this is have a distinct flavor compared to other Thai coconut water or coconut water from Philippines, and it's single ingredient, nothing added, 100% pure. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, where can we find the product?
Say that again, please.
Where can we find the product?
Yeah, we're going to be in retail coming April, so we're just going to be launched in April. Yeah.
And you're based in Massachusetts?
We're based out of Massachusetts, yes.
And just social media wise, where can people follow you for updates?
Yeah, if you want to look at our story and our brand, it's at Drink Urja on Instagram and also on Facebook.
Well, thank you, Justin, for talking to me today. Awesome. We're going to keep going around to our next producer here at the Diversity Inclusion. Excuse me. Diversity Pavilion. So we've got another great product that's coming around here from Sanchi, and I've got Mikur with us today, and I've also got Privanka with us. How are you? Awesome, awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about Sanchi.
So Samchi is a bean and lentil crisp, and we are using these 3 Ayurvedic superfoods, 3 beans that have been always used by plant-forward communities in India. We've always used them as curries, and they're disappearing. So we're like, how do we make them accessible and fun and introduce them to the world? And we came up with these amazing crisps that are full of protein, fiber, iron, and they're puffed and baked, not fried. So just super delicious for you. Consuming a bag is the same calories as a bag of Cheetos or Lay's, 110 calories, but pure love and nutrition. Where else will you get a vegan, gluten-free, plant-based snack that also cares for your environment? Because we're all about food diversity and trying to connect the dots between, just like our health is important to us, the health of the planet is important, and that rests in diversity of our plants.
So superfoods are so important now in the foods. Tell us a little bit about the flavors, because I'm sure that aids in people wanting to try them as well.
Superfoods is a great way to introduce people to new foods, but really all food is super, just like all of us are. And what we tried to do was really bring the beans element into a very centric, clean label to a palate. So the sea salt really makes you feel like nutty, gives you that umami beanie flavor that is generally warped by a lot of artificial flavors. The tikka masala is our take on a curry forward barbecue. So it's full of tomato, but also clean ingredients and spices that you should feel good about, like turmeric and pepper and chili powder. And then the garlic we have not skimmed on. The garlic is fresh crushed, so you can really feel the authentic natural garlic and a slight bit of heat. These are perfect as a sandwich, in your sandwich basket. They're great to munch on. And as I said, it's like an act of self-love. We all go through like a bag of chips without even realizing it. And if you're going through it, you should do it with like so much of consciousness. And when you go through it and you get that 5 grams of protein, fiber, and iron, you feel like I didn't do something bad. It was a great thing. It was like a spa day for my stomach.
So where can we find the product?
So right now we're direct to consumer, and we're through this included scholarship. We're hoping to get into a lot of retailers and some specialty stores in San Francisco. But we're ready to conquer the whole of America.
So, well, congratulations. We look forward to seeing more with Sanchi, more flavors, more product innovation, and best of luck. Awesome, awesome. Well, Susan, that is a little bit of a teaser of what we're finding here on the floor. Lots of great creations, lot of great producers, and so definitely, we've got one more day at the Fancy Food Show tomorrow. Come on by. So I'm going to throw it back to you, Susan.
All right, Sheree Williams, the one and only publisher of Cuisine Noir magazine, a wonderful publication. Sheree, thank you so much for giving us a great in-depth look at the wonderful vendors in the Diversity Pavilion here on the SFA Fancy Food Show floor, reminding you to please comment in the audience comments, no matter what platform you're on, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. We care about what you think. Send us comments, send us questions, whatever you want to see, tell us. Otherwise, we won't know. So remember to do that. Thank you so much for showing your love to us, showing your love and support. Like, comment, and share the live stream links as well. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to turn now to a really special conversation that Brittany Bohr had with Cipriani, the VP of Talent at the Special Food Association. It's such a great coincidence, so serendipitous that today, on this day, Martin Luther King Day, is also this at the same time as this is, I believe, the second year of the Included Diversity Pavilion, and Brittany got to talk all about. Yes, I turned off my mic, and I'm really sorry about that. Okay, so Sheree Williams was just with us. Thank you, Sheree, for showing us all the great vendors at the Diversity Pavilion. I can see my producer Brittany cringing. Don't worry, Brittany, we're doing great. This is what it's about. This is live TV, live webcast TV. I know you're still here with me, viewers. Going on anyway, moving forward, we're going to a piece that Brittany Bohr, she had a great chat with Cipriani, the VP of Talent and Culture here at SFA. They were talking about all the great DEI initiatives that SFA is making strides towards being committed to and accomplishing. Please take a look. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Brittany Bohr, and I am here with Cipriani, the Vice President of Talent and Culture here at SFA. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Now, we are in the middle of it. We're in the midst of honoring Martin Luther King Day. So tell us, what is SFA doing to commemorate Dr. Martin Luther King?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. We recognize that the winter Fancy Food Show will conflict with the Dr. Martin Luther King holiday. It's something that's unfortunate. And so recognizing that, SFA has done a number of things to really acknowledge his life and achievements, and we've curated a number of activities for the day. Our resource development department actually put together a short video of testimonials from staff and from some of our board members, actually. And what they're doing in this video is they're discussing how Dr. King has really impacted them personally as well as professionally. But what does this mean for me personally? I would say, as a person that has Southern roots, I was actually spent a lot of time in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. I was born in New York, but I was raised quite a bit in Alabama. Due to that exposure, Dr. King's principles were instilled in me at a very young age. And so his quest for peace, for justice, still resonates with me to this very day. And as the VP of Talent and Culture, it really drives me to advocate for things that I believe in and be able to do so with a level of grace and with respect. But I also recognize in my position, it's important to bring people together and create pathways where they can learn about different backgrounds. They can really embrace these differences and have this uh, be something that goes on a daily basis. So we're really excited about some of the activities that we're going to be doing for Dr. King, his celebration, and I hope that you enjoy it as well if you have a chance to see it.
Wow, that sounds really powerful, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the video and just it just feels like, you know, SFA is in great hands. It seems like your leadership is just so authentic and sincere, and I'm just really, really excited to see all that you have going on today. So, you know what, I want to kind of switch gears a little bit and kind of look at the show now. Um, I saw on SFA's website, and I really love this text that says, "Food is a universal language that can break down barriers and promote cultural understanding." And I think that kind of goes right along with this honoring the holiday. So how might we see this being played out at the show?
Yeah, it's a great quote, and I actually had an opportunity to go to my first show with Specialty Food Association back in the summer last year in June of 2022, and it's remarkable. And this year it's going to be the same. We have nearly 200 exhibitors in the Winter Fancy Food Show, which includes 3 state pavilions, and we have 12 international pavilions. And when I think about the show, what really comes to mind for me is that food is really acts as a convener. And what I mean by that is that it brings people together, regardless of their nationality, regardless of their cultural background. And it really provides that the show provides a platform for people to embrace these differences, to learn something new about each other, and perhaps do so while having a delicious snack or beverage. So, I think that quote really encapsulates what we're looking to accomplish. That food is this universal language that brings us all together, and you'll certainly see that play out in the show. In the days that we have the show going on between starting on Sunday through Tuesday. You'll see some of that play out.
Well, food certainly does bring people together, and I am really excited about all of the wonderful food that's going to be around. I'm excited to learn, and I'm sure the rest of the attendees are also. So, what can attendees expect to find at the Diversity Pavilion this year?
Oh, I'm glad you asked about the Diversity Pavilion. It's actually one of the newer sections that we've created for the Winter Fancy Food Show. And it's something that we're really excited about. So the Diversity Pavilion is essentially uh, um, where we would host a number of exhibitors that have certified in one or more diversity categories. And it's fully vetted individuals, and we have a number of different categories that they would have to certify, show proof of certification in. So we have categories like National Gay Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, or um, we have the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, or the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. So really, people would have to show certification in one of these diverse areas. And if they do so, then they gain entry into the Diversity Pavilion. And so this is really a section that of the show that celebrates makers from traditionally underrepresented populations or communities who are all united by their shared passion for specialty foods.
Well, that sounds really exciting, and it sounds like this is going to be a really big show. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about SFA's DEI initiatives. Can you tell me a little bit about more about that?
Yeah, so we have a DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. So it's a board design or designated committee that's comprised of 5 board members, and then we have one SFA staff lead, which would be myself. And so our overarching objective, or what we affectionately we call it our DEI aspirational statement. Um, so that statement is to attract and retain employees, volunteers, members that are reflective of diverse experiences, backgrounds, perspectives, in order to best serve our diversified profile of constituents in the food and beverage industry. So that's our aim, that's our objective. And we've been very successful. One of the things that I would say is maybe a feather in our hat is the DEI committee was very instrumental in helping to debut the Included program at the 2022 Summer Fancy Food Show. The Included program is essentially a membership collective of CPG companies that are led or mostly owned by BIPOC leaders. And they're dedicated to, really having mutual success. They're dedicated to advocating for diverse representation, and they have a strong commitment to amplifying BIPOC voices and brands in the specialty food industry. So that's really the focus of the group, and we started it last year. I'm excited to say and thrilled to announce that the Included program will be showcased in our Winter Fancy Food Show, and we expect it to be in our summer show later this year.
Aki, thank you so much for your honesty, your transparency, and I just love that you've shared your story with us today. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the show. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Enjoy your day.
All right, many thanks to Brittany Bohr and Aki Cipriani for that wonderful conversation. I do want to take a moment to thank our wonderful sponsors. We've got our title sponsor, obviously, Atalanta Corporation, the country's largest privately held food importer, bringing to your door, to your store shelf, wonderful products from all around the globe. www.atalantacorp.com. We are going to have a great segment coming up later in the show, Il Villaggio, for all your specialty Italian product needs. We're going to have a great talk about that product later on in the show. Special thanks also to our platinum sponsors, Rosenthal and Rosenthal, the country's largest privately held factor and finance company. They are great friends of the food and beverage industry. They serve many clients in the food and beverage industry, and they are committed to helping you out, whether you're large or small business, when it comes to providing alternative loans, when it comes to guidance and advice on manufacturing, distributing, supply chain issues. www.rosenthalinc.com. They are a third-generation family business. They started on a loan. They specialize in loans. They want to help you. They want to help your business, your product. Finally, our silver sponsor, RSM US LLP, a wonderful tax services company, auditing services company, consulting services company. You name it, they've got it. They also offer wonderful education resources, such as this webcast, all about modernizing your internal business systems. You can find out more. Yes, there is the link. You can find out more. Click on that link in the audience comments, www.rsmus.com for more information. All right, so we are going to take a quick commercial break, but don't go away. We'll be here back soon with Jonathan Deutsch, a great friend of SFA and Food Institute. We're going to talk trends. We're going to talk consumer with David Lockwood, principal researcher of SFA. We're going to see the Italian Pavilion. It's going to be a blast. So stay right with us. We'll be right back. I'll talk a little. All right, well, we are back. Thank you so much for joining us once again. I am so excited to introduce a great friend of both the Food Institute and SFA. This is the guy to know, just all around great guy, one of the kindest men you'll ever meet. He knows all about trends. He knows all about flavors. He is Jonathan Deutsch, professor and director of Drexel Food Core Lab at Drexel University. Jonathan, once again, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks for asking me back. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I mean, how can we not have you back? You've got all the answers.
I hope so.
The answers that people want to know. You know, I do remember we had such a great time with Melanie
Yes,
Bartolome,
it was fun.
another great expert on flavors. Anyway, you and her and I, we had a great conversation about flavors trends last year. Okay, so to start off overall, tell me, what are you seeing? Are you seeing, things that you've expected? What's similar compared with last year and what you guys were looking at, and this year, what you're looking at for 2023?
Similar is, there's always a great vibe here. There's always great energy. There's a lot of wonderful people promoting wonderful products, a lot of innovative flavors, bold flavors. It's just this like sensory overload, which I really love. There's a lot of sort of subtle differences, I think, and I can't tell how much of it is an East Coast, West Coast thing or a last year to this year thing.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to look in the summer show back in New York and see, how that compares. So one of the themes we talked about last time was COVID and lockdown really got people cooking at home.
Yes.
And so there were a lot more products that were home cooking focused. That's still true. I still see a lot of those products. However, they're sort of a little bit more convenience oriented than they were last time, and a little bit more sort of heightened flavors. I think the combination of our comfort with home cooking from lockdown, and then the big change that we didn't quite have at the summer show was all of these inflationary pressures and budget pressures. So even though specialty food can be expensive,
Yes.
compared to a restaurant meal, it's still very affordable.
Yes.
And so you're seeing a lot of things that you use sparingly that really heighten home cooking flavors. So I saw some really interesting like sea salts and flavored salts and things where you literally a pinch is going to take something like boring and make it interesting.
Right. I saw a lot of salts. There have been quite like spices.
Salt has definitely been a theme. Salt and spice. Ways that I saw some interesting new lime zest, and so things that are like really high quality and bursting with flavor that you can use sparingly, and also things that are just a little bit one step easier to do home cooking, like diced pancetta or really high end croutons or something like that. That just sounds so kind of like everyday, but it really makes a difference, right? And you really feel like you're indulging. So that's been a definite trend. Another change has been we've always had themes around global flavors and sort of the world getting smaller as people travel and discover things on social media and have this cross-cultural exchange. One of the really exciting trends that I've seen a lot is sort of global snacking. So we've had a lot of movement in sort of global flavors in categories like sauces and condiments, in noodles and things like that. That's nothing new. But the snacks are really interesting. So I love, for example, snacks from Indian cultures, and there are so many, and they're so great, and they're being marketed to a mainstream audience, but in many cases they're not being dumbed down, which I like to see. So
I
remember still spicy. And
they're keeping the authenticity.
I like that. Whenever a client or a potential client comes to us and they say, I have this wonderful food from my culture, and what I'm trying to do is dumb it down for a mainstream audience. I'm like, no, stop it. I have this wonderful food from my culture, and let's get it, out to a broader audience.
Yes, right? I remember you made that point last year, and I love that. You're seeing like consumers, they want the authenticity.
Yeah.
They want the realness. They want to taste what it's really like. The snacking as well, the global snacking. I saw this morning in the new product display, elote. Mexican street corn. I love that.
Yeah, I actually wrote that down. Elote Mexican street corn snack mix too, which is cool. So taking that flavor and doing interesting things with it. And that's a great example of something that used to be sort of translated for folks, and now people recognize the term and they're looking for it. So that's a big one. We're still seeing a lot of movement in sustainability, upcycling. One of the interesting things I've noticed about upcycling is there are now over 300 certified upcycled food products. Not all of them here, but many of them here. But there's also a lot of upcycling happening in ways that it's not explicit, but when you ask the producers, they are upcycled. So things like chicken skin chips that are an upcycled product. A fruit and whey ice cream that has like a delicious flavor, and it happens to be using a byproduct from cheese making. Right? So it's sustainable, but it's not beating you over the head saying we're sustainable. It's just a better way to do business and a way to get nutrition and flavor. So we're seeing a lot of great stuff like that. Fish jerkies made from like little fish tails and things like that. So that's been great. And then the other thing that I think is a constant from last time is health is everywhere. So
absolutely,
yes, you can have your cheesecake, but here's a healthy, high protein, reduced sugar version, and it's in a small portion, and it's still delicious, and it still gives you, all of the satisfaction, right? With a little less guilt. So we're seeing a lot of products like that. Small indulgent bites or functional everything. It's not just gum, it's caffeinated gum. It's not just a cookie, it's a caffeinated cookie. And we're seeing function everywhere, right? Everything focused on antioxidant-rich spices or reduced carb or lower glycemic
a lot of
index.
buzzwords.
You can take basically any product here And if you look around, you'll find a number of better for you alternatives of that same healthy product.
Yeah, I love that. That's so interesting. The chicken skin chips, that's forever in my mind. The chicken skin
Well, they're
crisp
essentially
chips.
like pork rinds, right?
Oh,
They're made
sounds
from chicken
delicious.
skin. They're delicious. There's a Hattie B's Nashville hot flavor.
Okay.
Oh,
Ooh.
really nice.
Are they here?
They're here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got to check them out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, see, you know, we promise and he delivers as always, giving us the lowdown on the trends. This is Jonathan Deutsch, professor and director of the Drexel Food Core Lab at Drexel University. Jonathan, thanks again for joining us. That was
Thanks
great.
for having me. Anytime.
Yeah, all right, thank you. So now we're going to turn it over to the mayor of the food industry, as we like to call the mayor of the specialty food industry. Everyone knows him, everyone loves him. Ron Tanner, once again, joining us live from the Italian Pavilion. Buonasera, is that right, Ron? What are you seeing at the lovely Italy Pavilion? Also a great friend and sponsor of SFA, is it not? Ron, tell us what you're seeing.
Well, yeah, thank you. We are at the Italian Pavilion where they have 71 exhibitors. So it's the largest pavilion at the show. And we're going to walk around. We're going to show you cocktails, olive oil, cheese. But we're starting by talking to Antonino, who is the Italian Trade Commissioner, who's been at several fancy food shows and is the person who really brings all these companies. So how are you feeling about the Winter Fancy Food Show? Are your exhibitors happy? Are you happy?
Yeah, we are definitely happy because all the companies are happy. We organize the participation of the Italian companies at summer and winter fancy food because we are convinced that this is absolutely the most important window for the Italian companies to get acquainted of some basic rules of the US market and to get in touch with, of course, relevant companies that are interested in importing their products. At this edition, we are here with more than 70 companies in what we call the Italian area. But we know that there are at least more than 20 companies with their own booth all around the pavilions of the fairs, without considering also that there are about 50 companies that are under the umbrella of their own importers, which means that after exploring and exploiting the possibility of being into the Italian pavilion, now they are comfortably under the umbrella of the importers and they have a common strategy with the importer.
Well, that's because of what you and the other Italian trade commissioners have done. You've been at the Fancy Food Show for many, many years, and the companies have come established, and they're in with their importers.
Yeah, yes, definitely. This is the gateway, for the Italian companies to have access, even at the initial stage, with the U.S. market. And once they are, strong in the market, they have changed the strategy. We have been always, I would say, one of the most important pavilion at the summer and the winter fancy food. And I would like to say that this is the second edition in Las Vegas, and a lot of companies have expressed appreciation for this choice because it gives them the chance to be in a more central area in terms of relationship with certain territories. As a matter of fact, we are satisfied also because during the COVID, we have been telling through webinars and seminars, we have been telling the Italian companies that it was time to consider in a totally different way the possible expansion of their presence in the west side of the country. For many years, everybody knows that we have been leaders in the area of the east. The triangle, I would say, of New York and Chicago and Miami has been the area of the activity for many Italian companies. But now the strategy that we are pushing for is to consider that area as a landing pad. But now it's absolutely necessary for them to be here. And this confirmed by the fact that at the last edition, we were only 45 into the pavilion. Today, as I mentioned, more than 70, and this means that the strategy now has been understood by the Italian companies.
Well, I think the companies appreciate that. I'm sure the buyers who are here appreciate it too, because they want to come around and see these great products so they can bring them into their stores and bring them into their restaurants.
Yes, what characterizes, I think, this Italian official presence is the fact that there is a very high turnover, which means that every single year we have a certain percentage of the companies that are confirming the presence into the Italian pavilions, but once they start flying, they move into the other pavilions. So it gives us, as an Italian Trade Commission, the chance to accomplish what is the real mission that we have, to introduce more and more Italian companies. In this case, we have also some small and medium-sized companies that they need absolutely the assistance and they absolutely need the winter fancy food as a window to be known by the potential buyers.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to go into the pavilion and see some of your companies. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for all the assistance, and thank you very much for coming here. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to move over toward the Italian pavilion to go into the Italian pavilion. We're going to grab Mr. Donato Trinelli, who's going to walk over with us.
Oh, let's do that.
Let's walk to the cocktail.
Nice.
Explain a little bit about what you try to do with the pavilion as far as companies, entertainment, cocktails.
Cocktails. Of course. Oh, yes. Well, what we're trying to do is to give a sort of a more Italian feeling to the visitors of the show. We started this concept a few years ago where we want the visitor to come in and have the possibility to taste our authentic products. Also, together with a glass of wine or, our cocktails, which are very popular today in Italy, so l'aperitivo italiano and coffee. So the idea is that all of our exhibitors participate in this, supplying the products and their time and trying to connect with the visitors, the buyers.
Do you have a favorite cocktail?
Well, in Italy, of course, there's a couple of cocktails. Maybe we'll have one made, and we'll show you. Allora, facciamo un cocktail, spiega un po' come si fa.
We're making a cocktail for our camera person here.
This is the Prosecco, Aperol, club soda, and nectar, peach nectar.
That comes from Veneto, so in Italy, and it has different type of products in it. Spritz.
The Prosecco, Aperol, and club soda.
And, yeah.
Very, very good. Okay.
Where you would put the almost sour version of that.
I'm okay with just the one because I. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh yeah, very different.
We have different varieties of cocktails.
That one is with the Prosecco, limoncello, and then a little bit of lemon soda.
Which is now becoming a little bit more and more popular.
Okay, great, thank you. Do you want to put this back for me? I'm going to return after I'm done with camera, and now we're going to walk over to Orecchio cheese. Paolo, we're going to walk a couple aisles here. Thank you very much, Donato. You can see all the activity here, people getting pasta, people getting cheese, all kinds of different things. And we're going to walk a little faster if we can. I'm walking backwards, and I just had a sip of the cocktail, so I think I'm going to be fine. But I am looking behind me as we go here. Okay. We keep going here. See all kinds of things to see how the aisles are busy there with a lot of buyers. A lot of prosciutto, a lot of meat products come from Italy, obviously. We're going by Veroni here, which has a lot of great salamis and prosciuttos and things like that. And we're going to keep going here to the next aisle. Excuse us. And we're almost to where we wanted to go. Okay. See, they're making some pasta here with Italian flour. The best pasta in the world, pure flour from Europe. And as we continue to head over here, I'm going to look for Mr. Orecchio. Hello, Tanner. Nice to see you, Alberto.
Nice to see you.
I know you have wonderful cheeses. I've heard about them, not for quite 150 years, but you've been around, not you, but the cheese has been around a long time. So tell us a little bit about the company.
So like you say, last year the company made 145-year history, so we are very proud because you remain an Italian and familiar, so not sell to big companies. And we are in the United States from the 1901. The first invoice that I find, so more than 100 years that we export to United States. I am the fourth generation, and the son will be the fifth. And so I think that the company will continue to stay private company. We are famous in the world for provolone because Auricchio is famous for provolone. But in the last 25 years, we grow buying other companies. The most important is Locatelli Pecorino Romano, that is sheep's milk, that is the most famous Italian brand in cheeses, of course, in US. So we are very proud about that, and we try to keep the recipe of my grandfather in 1877 when the company was built.
That sounds great. What is your factory like? Is it you have one factory or a couple factories?
No, we have 9 plants in Italy for 2 reasons. One, for respect the PDO production. You know that the PDO rules oblige to have milk in that area with some recipe, so you need to have different plan for this reason. And the other reason is because my brother that is following the production, I am a sales, is in the production, says that it's better to have a plant dedicated to one kind of cheese. So we have so many cheese that we need to have 8 plants in Italy.
Well, it's certainly been working well for you, and we appreciate the time you spent with us. We're now going to explore a little bit more, so thank you very much. We'll come back and have some cheese in a little bit.
When you want. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're going to walk over several aisles here. This way. As you can see, it's very busy here back at the Italian Pavilion. A lot of people coming because they want to see the great products. People are coming because they want a little bit of cheese and they want a little bit of prosciutto to have at this time. We're now kind of at lunchtime at the Fancy Food Show, but at the Fancy Food Show, basically all day is lunchtime and breakfast time and dinner time, and I guess maybe cocktail time. So we're going to keep going here, and we're going pretty far, Paolo, so I'm going to pick up my backward speed a little bit if you can come along with me, because we're going all the way over to Di Martelli. Okay. We're going to keep going here, keep going, and looks like they're getting ready for a wine tasting here. Excuse me. At the Italian Pavilion. So if you're at the show and watching this, please think about coming to see us. And we are still going here. It's getting pretty busy going through here, and I am continuing. Oh, here we are. Here we are. We got here. We only have a minute or so left. So Giuseppe, tell us a little bit about your pasta and about yourself and about the company.
The company is a family business, like many of Italian food manufacturers. We started in 1912. We are in the town of Gragnano, which is the homeland of pasta, the only pasta that is protected geographic indication. We also have a restaurant in New York called La Devozione, where people can come and try 126 different shapes of pasta. So it's the variety of pasta is part of the Mediterranean diet, which means you eat pastas by using seasonal ingredients, and it never be boring. It will be very good for your health.
Well, great. Thank you. We're going to come see you in New York. You're going to be in New York because we are running out of time here. But we will come see you in New York and maybe come over and try 126 types of pasta. That's pretty amazing. So, great. Thank you for your time. And here we're wrapping up here at the Italian Pavilion, and lots of people coming around. They're protecting Paolo there as she keeps backing up. And you can see here, lots of activity. Very, very active here in the afternoon, and looking forward to coming back here, probably getting my cocktail, but I might wait a little bit for that, and having some cheese and some prosciutto and some pasta, and always olive oil from Italy too. Very, very, very popular. And it looks like the wine tasting is beginning to get started here.
All right. I think you got to get a glass, Ron.
I have a cocktail. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I mean, I brought us to a fun place.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ron Tanner, for that wonderful look at the Italian Pavilion here at the SFA Winter Fancy Foods Show, the 47th annual 2023 here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And here with me, I have two lovely, lovely ladies from our beloved title sponsor, Atalanta Corp, the country's largest privately held food importer in the United States. They import a variety of food products from around the world right to your pantry, right to your door, into your pantry shelf. And they are here today to explain to us a special brand that they have within the Atalanta family, Il Villaggio, a wonderful line of Italian specialty products. We've got Marissa DeMeo, VP of Marketing. Yes, thank you. And Katie Baldwin, Senior Brand Manager of Atalanta Corp. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, let's get into it. Okay. Tell us, Marissa, what is Il Villaggio?
So Il Villaggio is actually a brand that's been around for quite some time. What we would like to do is put a breath of fresh air into this brand because we think that there are many, many stories that we can tell behind each and every product. And it's not just an Italian imported from Italy line. This is really an Italian and an Italian-American story. And what we want to do is drive those stories home with a campaign called It Takes a Village. Because behind every product, it truly does take a village to create those items. For example, Parmigiano Reggiano, from the farmer to the cheesemaker to the quality control group to make sure that we are getting the absolute best wheels of Parmigiano Reggiano here in the country. And we can tell those dairy stories, those cheesemaker stories, those generational stories, first, second, third, fourth, fifth generation sometimes. And we want to bring that home to the consumer base here. So we've done a wonderful brand refresh. This It Takes a Village concept is not just about also the stories behind what I was telling you, all of our partners, one being the mozzarella as well, which is made here in the US in a very Italian-American area of the country in New Jersey, Northeast, Southeast, huge Italian-American population, so it definitely hits home. But it's also about how does it take a village to get dinner on the table tonight? I mean, how many times do we know there are two working parents in the home? And we want to give you simple recipes. Yes. And it goes beyond all of those little iconic lifestyle moments. So we want to make sure that you get the story and that you're part of the story with Il Villaggio.
Exactly. That kind of mentality translates across all cultures, no matter who you are. And I love the focus of Italian culture, Italian-American culture. Absolutely. I was just watching, I think it was a Ken Burns documentary about the story of the Italian community, Italian immigrants into America. There's a long history there.
Very long history. I have a history being an Italian American from New Jersey. Can't figure that out by my accent. So I'm very emotionally attached to this brand, and I look forward to working with Katie, who's my right arm on this project, and making sure that we tell those stories.
Exactly. All right, Katie, let's hear from you. Tell us about the products that are in this wonderful brand.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Marissa mentioned, there are hard cheeses, like some real classics, iconic must-have cheeses. Parmigiano Reggiano, Chiave, which is a little bit lesser known, but definitely a must-have for a case. Grana Padano, some Italian specialty like ricotta salata. And then we also have a cups program, and that has grated Parm, grated Romano, a lot of availability to really enter into the space with that, with some approachable pieces that are shelf stable. And then the next part is our fresh mozzarella, as Marissa alluded to, that classic Italian-American story behind
God, I love that.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
But also, in addition to all the products that we have, I think it's important to also talk about the support that we have behind them. And so it's not just the products that we brought here today, it's also the marketing behind the scenes. We have a new program, It Takes a Village, as Marissa said, with a lot of experiential in-store marketing, which we're really excited about.
Yeah, I love that. I love the focus. We've mentioned in earlier conversations, with Atalanta, it's not about pushing products themselves.
Yes.
It's about creating that community feeling, creating those relationships. That's what makes Atalanta so special, makes you all the largest privately held food importer in the U.S. That is something to toot your horn about. All right, so Katie, tell me about another special thing you guys are doing with the First Bite magazine, and I think Il Villaggio has a special feature in there, right?
Yeah, so actually, for anyone listening who doesn't know about First Bite, it is a publication that we launched last year, and it features our new items, but also there's a lot of trends happening in the market. It can be difficult to stay on top of, what's new, what's hot, what's next, what are consumers looking for. So it's our way to really understand how do those consumer trends, what we're seeing in the market, both on retail and food service, helping our customers really understand this and how to take advantage of that. So Villaggio has a feature in it. We have a new 5.3 ounce Parmigiano Reggiano. And really what we're seeing with that is it's not just the king of cheeses. It's also a new smaller pack size. So it's net weight, which is so key with labor and retail, facing a lot of difficulties there. And a smaller pack size for smaller households. It's not always two parents. There's a support system, but sometimes it's just one parent. Sometimes there's different situations. And so it's making sure that all of our products appeal to a wide variety.
Really focusing on the consumer, making sure their needs are met. That's what you guys are all about. I love that. All right. So most importantly, where can we find out more about Il Villaggio?
Absolutely. So we have a new website, villaggiocheese.com.
Awesome.
Very exciting.
Okay.
So you can check out, some of the key products there. And there's also upcoming social media, which will be launching soon, but you can follow us at Il Villaggio Brand on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. Il Villaggio Brand on Instagram and Facebook, ilvillaggiocheese.com.
Yes.
On the internet, I know everyone's on there.
Exactly.
We want to get that cheese on the internet, on the store shelves. Il Villaggio, a special brand, part of the Atalanta family line of products. Marissa DeMeo, VP of Marketing. Katie Baldwin, the one and only Senior Brand Manager at Atalanta Corp. Atalanta Corp. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right. So we're going to take it over to a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with David Lockwood, Senior Principal Researcher at SFA. He's going to tell us all about his findings about the SFA Consumer Report on the specialty food industry. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, we are back here at the Winter Fancy Foods Show 2023, 47th annual here at Las Vegas, Nevada. To remind you, I am Susan Choi, your host from the Food Institute, which is powering this live stream, www.foodinstitute.com for all of your food and beverage industry news needs. We've got podcasts, newsletters, articles, live streams like this one, videos, great content, you name it, we've got it, www.foodinstitute.com. Check out our content, maybe become a member, maybe become a sponsor. We'd love to have you anytime. All right, so we're going to talk to David Lockwood, a special person with a special job. You may remember him from the Summer Fancy Foods Show live stream coverage. He gave us some great insights on the industry, the specialty food industry, all of the trends with the categories of specialty foods and beverages. And now we're going to talk about the consumer. You've worked very hard on this new report, the Specialty Food Consumer Report. And I welcome you to the show. Thank you, David Lockwood, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Susan. It's a pleasure to be here.
Always, and you're such a pleasure, such a wonderful guest. So let's get into it. The Specialty Food Report. Okay, first of all, describe to us what the report is.
It's a report of consumers. So I literally go out and talk to 1,630 general population consumers. So it stretches across everybody, people who do buy specialty foods and people who don't. So we know what the whole population is doing. We ask them 23 questions. And we've been doing most of the questions for many years, so we can trend those. That's important, obviously. And of course, it's handy that the reports that we create, the consumer report and the state of the industry report, are all available at the SFA Learning Center. But yeah, it's a very thorough report.
Very thorough report. You mentioned a little bit about how you do the report. I want to continue with that, the methodology. You started in July of last year.
Yes.
You interviewed, 1,000, I think it is 1,000, like more than 1,000. 1630. Tell us more about that. I mean, what's the importance of, the process, how you determined, what you do to get that data?
Oh, well, it's just making sure that you have a large enough sample so that it mirrors the entire population by region, by state, by age, all of the demographics. And that's all that it's about.
Okay, great. All right, let's go on to the next important point. I mean, such a great report, rich with sources. And you gave a great keynote speech. You gave a great talk, and you presented your findings. We'll go into grocery shopping, e-commerce, the trends that you see here. Tell us more about what the findings were.
Yeah, so the real top line is that you've probably seen a lot of news reports that online shopping has had trouble this year. Well, not so in specialty food, not at all. What we have is looking at data back to 2019 in this case, where 47% of people were buying specialty foods online, 67% in 2022.
Right.
So it has grown tremendously because of the pandemic, and people have gotten so much more comfortable buying things online than they would have without the pandemic.
Right. And looking, I mean, it's interesting, given, the state of the economy that we're in, talk about that, like consumers, they are willing to spend. They're still willing to spend, even if the price point is higher. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, absolutely. You also see that in the news much more than you would in specialty foods. You see that, people are cutting back. People are just simply doing without things. But in our surveys, what we found was that literally almost half of people said that they have not changed their buying habits at all. And then of the half who have changed their buying habits, it's split in two ways. Roughly half of them say that they're buying less of a given category, and roughly half say that they're trading down to other cheaper items. So some people have changed, some not. And again, this was taken in July. So by now we've been through a little more inflation. It'll start to bite. What I like to say is that 2022 was the year of the faux recession. 2023 is going to be the real recession.
The real recession.
So we'll see a little bit more of that behavior starting to play in. But certainly 2022, consumers weathered that very, very well. it'll get a little harder this year.
Okay, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it a little more this year. That's a great point. Let's go into the whys.
Yeah.
Love the research you did. Why specialty food consumers, SFCs, buy specialty foods. I found this very interesting. I thought like environment sustainability would be further up the top, but it's not. It's actually, they want the flavors, right?
Yeah,
Tell us more about that.
Yeah. So interestingly, this list on why you buy specialty foods literally hasn't changed for 7 or 8 years. You could have tattooed it on your arm and it'd still be the same top 5 reasons. So people are looking for food that is interesting and different in the flavor. Then they're also looking for clean, simple ingredients. So right there up at the top, you've already got flavor and ingredients. Then below that, you have superior quality, superior taste. So even bringing taste in a second way.
Right.
And then authentic ethnic is the 5th one. Those 5 have stayed the same for many years. The one that's creeping up, and I suspect will become top 5 eventually, is better for the environment.
Yes.
So you might be surprised, as you said, that it isn't already in the top 5.
But it's getting there.
It's getting there.
It's getting there. It's something to watch. It's something that people are becoming more conscious of. Let's go into what SFCs are buying in the store. Top 10 most purchased beverages. We've got the milks. Again, that was something that we saw. Beverages. That was pretty high up last year in what you saw in like the report on specialty food industry sales. That was really interesting. Let's talk about that.
So when you look at, say, the top 10 list of things that people are buying the most of, 5 of them are beverages. It didn't used to be that way because that also was something that happened in the pandemic where people got used to buying online beverages that they had never done before. So up at the top, you have milk and water, number 1 and 2. But then you also have juice down at number 6, also growing faster than everything else. And then there's coffee as well. It's always in the top 10. So
always going to be in the top 10. People need their caffeine.
So lots of beverages up there. And then, of course, salty snacks. People can't do without their salty snacks. That's a fast grower. Anything plant-based. Again, you hear on the news things that plant-based might have had a rough year, but not so in terms of sales and specialty foods. So,
Sounds very much aligned. We've been interviewing a lot of experts. They've been talking about the same thing. Plant-based beverages, salty snacks. People love their snacking. That's a huge category.
We are a treat society.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, how many people have we seen at the Chocolate Pavilion over the last 2 days? Okay, let's kick it over to where SFCs are shopping. The brick and mortar stores, the mass, the club discount stores. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about your findings of where grocery shopping. Right?
Yeah, also kind of a long-term trend there, which is that consumers are moving a little bit more toward mass market and a little bit away from standard grocery stores. So that's the biggest move, and it's kind of a one-for-one shift. But then you also see club stores doing very, very well. And most of the channels are doing well from 2020 to 2022. They're almost all growing. Specialty food stores haven't grown, but they're doing okay. Natural food stores, okay. Because they were hit harder by the recession, or not by the pandemic, than regular grocery stores. Why? Because it's a lot of theater. It's a lot of going to explore. People did a little less exploring, as you know, in 2020 and 2021.
And it's usually a little bit of smaller space as well.
Smaller space.
Boutique.
Exactly. But then others channels growing, convenience stores, oddly enough, are starting to creep up. They don't quite make our list of the top 6 or so, but convenience stores are a place that are really starting to evolve what they sell. So starting to have a lot more specialty foods there than there used to be.
Right. And then, okay, let's get into online shopping, the e-commerce. It's grown to new heights over the years. As you said, we're in the pandemic. People want to buy online, and I feel like it's different in that we're scared of going out because of COVID, but now it's like the convenience. Like people just want to stay home. It's so easy. We've got technology at our fingertips. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Shopping online, as I said, really got a huge boost from the pandemic, and then it got an even more boost from inflation and things like that. So, and people are shopping roughly equally in terms of whether they're buying online and picking up in store or buying online and having delivered from home. Both are growing very, very quickly. And if you look at the data, you'll see that it's happening across all demographics age-wise. So yes, baby boomers are older and less likely to buy online, but they're growing just as fast as the younger generations. So it's certainly led by millennials and Gen Z,
Exactly.
no question about that.
Right.
But the older generations are shopping online as well.
Yes.
So I saw another statistic, not ours, that just last month alone, 50% of people bought some food and had it, either delivered or picked up, bought it online. That's a lot of people.
That's a significant number.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so many great statistics, so many great analysis by you, David Lockwood. Okay, so let's hear about where can people find this report? Where can they access the full report?
Oh yeah, just go to the SFA Learning Center. It's always there. You can buy the bundle of both the State of the Industry report and the Consumer report. So that's the place to find it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, David Lockwood. A job well done on such a thorough report with lots of great insights. Thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right. Okay. Well, we're going to turn it over now to what you guys always enjoy, what I always enjoy. You got to see what's on the show floor, right? You got to see that live action, and we are going to bring it to you, our very own Jordan Wiklund. To know him is to love him. He is already here with us on the Beverage Pavilion floor, sampling some of those drinks. Jordan, I hope that you haven't consumed too much because you won't be getting a bathroom break anytime soon. You got to give us some reporting here. You got to tell us what you're seeing. I'm kicking it over to you, Jordan. What do you got?
Well, that's very kind, Susan. Depending who you ask, it was either Frank Sinatra or Jack Lemmon who said, "I feel sorry for people who don't drink. That's the best they're going to feel all day long." And, that sentiment now applies to juices. We've come a long way from the sugar-infused, vibrant colors of, your typical retail grocery style juice. From infusions to collaborations, juice is hopping. It's happening, and we're here. So come on down to the Beverage Pavilion. It is quite busy, which is wonderful. But so are these guys. I'm with Sean Wilbur and Gary Prusher of Remedy Organics out of Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey. What do you say, boys?
I'm saying hello. It's great to be here in Vegas, and it's been a great show for us so far. So,
do you feel the same way, Sean?
I do. I do, Jordan. Actually, we've attended every winter and summer Fancy Food Show. We love it. It's one of the highlights of the year. So far, it's been a phenomenal show with the people we've met, and we're here to introduce a brand new product for the first time. We're rolling out at the Winter Fancy Food Show.
What do we got?
So these are immunity shots. It's all about gut health. I mean, you're walking around a show, you're flying in from the airports, and what better than to have as much vitamin C in you as possible. So, we have 4 different shots: Energize Me, Protect Me, Heal Me, and what was the other one, Sean? Digest Me. But they all have different for your gut health, and they all taste incredible. People have been walking around the show coming back, and the reason is because it's not only great for you, but it tastes incredible.
Phenomenal. So, I mean, if remedy is the answer, what's the what are we remedying?
Well, it's just for better health. Our 12 ounce that we started with, they're refrigerated. You can find them coast to coast, 49 states, 20,000 doors. And people use them as meal replacements, pre-workout, post-workout, and they got different functions. Our Berry Immunity, which we launched, Cindy, our founder, she's a holistic nutritional health counselor for 30 years. She created these in her home, and now, we're coast to coast just five years later. But 1 gram of sugar in our cold brew keto, and 16 grams of protein. So high protein, low sugar, almost no sugar, and now our shelf-stable Immunity Plus shots, which is a game changer, you'll start to see everywhere coast to coast, thanks in a big part from all the people who met here at the Winter Fancy Food Show.
Coast to coast like butter and toast. Absolutely. So, what are you guys seeing in the juice space? What's maybe next, and what excites you about the Specialty Food Show this year?
It's all about plant-based, and that's what we're all about. And I think people now are very conscious of their health. So I guess what better way to stay healthy, clean, and plant-based?
Anything to add, Sean?
No, I think Gary summed it up quite well, and we're looking forward to the rest of today and then tomorrow, and we'll see everybody in New York City for the summer fancy food show.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. You heard it here first. Coast to coast, butter and toast, Remedy Organics. We'll talk to you guys again. Thank you. So we're heading backwards up the aisle, up at the heart of the Beverage Pavilion. As you can see, it's quite busy. It's day 2 of the show, arguably the busiest day. Everyone needs a good juice. Everyone needs a little pick-me-up, especially me. My voice is starting to get a little bit grody, but we're going to power through that. So we are going to come up next. Excuse me. This is Prima Pave, one of the NA wine vendors here. We are scheduled, however, with a brand called Mixology, a functional beverage founded by Miss Christina Roth. Christina's over here. Just a moment. I'm going to have to interrupt you, fine people. No problem. Hey, it's good to be busy. What did you tell me when we first started? Don't call it a mocktail.
Yeah, I really don't like it if you call us a mocktail because we're a non-alcoholic cocktail. We're a drink for adults. We're not a Shirley Temple. And we're definitely not mocking cocktails.
Right on. Yeah, it's a tough business to break into. Juice is exploding. What have you found that makes your brand not only successful but notable and noteworthy?
We give you the placebo effect. We have actually like 0% juice. We mimic alcohol with flavors. Low calorie, 50 calories, 9 grams of sugar, and no nasties. And what I would like to promote in this world is forget dry January. It's way too dry. Forget sober October. It's way too serious. Just take an alcoholic day any day of the year, and that should be something what you should aspire to in 2023. Alcoholic days, weeks, months. We are in the no ABV business, but you can also use us as a mixer and just do a low ABV healthy drink. So.
Christina was kind enough to lay several cans of mixology on the staff. Can report they are quite wonderful. I'm a mezcal, I'm a tequila guy. I had the margarita one. It was wonderful. So what are you seeing out here at Fancy Food this year? Trends, or what are you looking forward to? What's sort of next on your calendar?
I mean, for me, in the non-alc category, because that's what I'm passionate about, I want to see more next generation non-alc brands. Let's all just, get, this pen from Men in Black and forget everything what we've heard about non-alcoholics before. Just click, click, and let's start next gen non-alcoholics.
That sounds wonderful, and we're gonna have to patent that. Hashtag next gen non-alcoholics. One more question. I understand this brand, or at least the idea, started on a vacation. Maybe you could briefly share that story before we move on.
Well, the brand started on an island, on Super She Island, which is the only island for women only, and which I'm fortunate enough to own. So everything with she at the end, Mixology, is an ode to women. And of course, I'm a woman entrepreneur. And think about Mixology as the sister to non-alcoholic beer, as the yin and yang. If the non-alc beer is like very masculine and it's not gluten-free, not yeast-free, not as low cal, then we are the big sister to non-alc beer.
That sounds wonderful. I'm going to have to get a wig and shave and get myself an invite. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Christine.
Thank you for having us.
Let's keep moving on. Next, we are heading to a brand called Maha Virtue LLC, founded by Miss Raha, who is busy selling product and moving retail. Come on out here, Raha. Just a moment. I had the pleasure of trying some of these saffron-infused pistachios earlier today. Happy to report they are delicious, and I will not be chewing them on camera. Raha, thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your company.
Hi, Jordan. Thanks for interviewing me. And life tastes happy at Maha Virtue because we have a patented sour saffron formula that is very exciting because it makes you happy, it makes you laugh. It's all widely grown what we do, and it's I would like you to taste some of the sour.
I would love to taste some of the sour. So the saffron sour is one of their premier drinks. You might, we'll try to get it on camera. There is saffron, almost like rice consistency inside it, and it's a diamond grade, I understand.
Diamond grade saffron is basically the top of the saffron flower. It's the crocus, and it's basically the mother of any antidepressant. And that's why I mentioned already, life tastes happy at Maha Virtue. It makes you happy, it makes you laugh. It's just a very good balance, antioxidants, anti-inflammatories. And we bathed our pistachios, the pistachios in it. These pistachios, we have a black lava lime salt, which I would like you to see. It's black lava induced with our formula, as you can see. And it turns orange and red when you rim a glass or you cook with it.
I had the pleasure of having some of that earlier. Witnessed the color change. It was wonderful. Mm-hmm.
You can mix it with alcohol. You can drink it as a functional. It's for you. Let me know what you think.
I surely will. Down the hatch, I wonder if we can see this on camera. It's sort of an orange ruddy consistency, but it's very light. I had some earlier and very pleased to have some now. Delicious.
You can taste the citrus wild pomegranate finish. It's very good with vodka too.
Right on. We're going to have to find those vodka vendors. I understand your children enjoy this, but if they have too much, they get the giggles a little bit. That's a natural effect of saffron.
Natural effect of saffron, and when the kids drink it, it's very good for them as well. And when they're on it, we say, oh my God, they're on sour.
That sounds wonderful. What is the one thing maybe about saffron most people might not know? It is one of our hottest trending ingredients for 2023.
Saffron, as I said, is the mother of any antidepressant. Unfortunately, a lot of pharma companies do not want to share that with you. But we're here to take down, down with big pharma in a natural way.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Raha. Really appreciate it. That's what we got from the Beverage Pavilion today. Very pleased to be here. And tomorrow we'll be back at the confectionery going off chocolate. Susan, back to you.
All right, Jordan Wiklund, the man with the master plan, always with a great eye for featuring all the wonderful booths here at the show floor of the Fancy Foods Show 2023. Thank you so much, Jordan. He was at the Beverage Pavilion. We are going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will have the one and only President Big Cheese of the Specialty Food Association, Bill Lynch. It's going to be such a treat. So stay right with us. We will be right back. All right, we are back here on the show floor at the Winter Fancy Foods 2023 47th annual show. And we always got to save the best for last. I'm so excited to have here the man of the hour, the man of the show, the head cheese, you know, the one, all the decisions go through him. He's the guy to talk to. President of SFA, Bill Lynch. Thank you so much for joining us.
Susan, thanks for having me. I appreciate the support of the Food Institute. It's always great having you at the shows and, you know, spreading the word of what we're trying to do here. And, you know, for the folks at home that are not able to join us, you know, hopefully they get a nice sense of what this is all about. And, you know, I should state for the record, though, that, you know, this is really about the members. You know, I just sort of sit in a fortunate role where I can facilitate an activity like this. And, but, you know, this is really our members' moment to really shine.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the great things I know the Food Institute loves about SFA is you make it about the members. Right. You focus on the ones that matter. So tell me, you know, how do you feel, right? 47th annual show, seeing all of this come together.
Yeah, I feel fantastic. I am most happy for our SFA staff who work incredibly hard to pull this off. There's a lot of behind the scenes details and planning that go into these big events. So, you know, kudos to the staff. They are really the heroes behind the scenes. Absolutely. And then I'm just really happy for our members. I've had an opportunity to walk the floor now for 2.5 days roughly. And I'm sorry, 1.5 days. Feels like I've been here a long time.
Yeah, but, exactly.
I'm hearing nothing but positive feedback from the members. And at the end of the day, that's why we're here. And so as long as the members are happy, that makes me happy, and it makes our staff happy as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is the second time that we're in Vegas.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Because, you know, we talked about a little bit before we went on the air that it used to be in San Francisco, right. And now we're in a different location. So how does that feel for you?
You know, Vegas has really become a great home for us here on the West Coast. And, you know, as you mentioned, it's the 47th year of the Winter Fancy Food Show. I've been fortunate enough to be around a lot of them. And, you know, of course, we loved our time in San Francisco and always have a special place in my heart for San Francisco. But, you know, when we made the decision to move here to Vegas for last year's show, we, you know, it's our first time here, right? And we didn't know what to expect. But we had such an overwhelming positive feedback from the community that we felt like this is a good place for us for the near future. So being here year 2, we're in a new building, the state-of-the-art facility here, the West Building.
Amazing.
It's
amazing.
Great. And it just provides us with more opportunities to serve our members and grow the shows. And in the city of Las Vegas, they really know how to roll out the red carpet. They're built for handling large conventions like this. You know, we're just coming off the CES show, obviously huge show here in Vegas, but they've been fantastic. So the support we get from our folks in Vegas, just, you know, it's really industry leading.
Awesome. All right, well, this is the 47th annual show, as I mentioned, the winter show. What is it about the winter show? Because, you know, the summer show, it's like a bit bigger, right? At the Javits Center, huge location in New York City,
right.
You know, a major landmark city in the country. But what is it about the winter show in particular that you love, that you hold close to your heart?
Yeah, so, you know, it's interesting because when we look at both shows, there are some folks that will only participate in the winter show, some in our summer show.
Right.
There's a little bit of crossover. But, you know, the West Coast show really has its own unique identity. And we're able to maybe experiment a little bit more, whereas the summer show's been around for a much longer time period. And, you know, it's really been a staple for us and our members. But the winter show, we get to try different things. Like, for instance, we have a new Now Next area where we're showcasing incubator kitchens and upstart companies. And we're able to, this is really where we launched our partnership with the Included Group, which is supporting BIPOC makers of specialty food products. And this year we've expanded that. The Diversity Pavilion has grown.
Yeah,
and
right near us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's busier than ever, which is awesome to see.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this winter show is really special. And, you know, particularly for the folks that only come to the Winter Fancy Food Show, they're meeting different buyers. You know, the shows are a little regional in nature. You know, probably a stronger draw here in Vegas on the West Coast buying side, and then obviously with the summer show, it's more East Coast based. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Bill, talk to me about, you've been a part of SFA for quite a while. We've had a lot of things happen to us as a country, in the past few years alone. How has that affected SFA in terms of membership, the evolving needs of the members, the evolution of the member themselves and member demographic? What have you seen?
Yeah. So, well, one of the great things is that this past year, in our 70-year history as an organization, we had the most member companies join in 1 year period.
Wow.
So in a 12-month period, we had 1,000 member companies join the SFA.
Yeah. Sarah Masoni mentioned that to us
Yeah,
earlier.
so
Yeah,
it was really a banner year for the organization. It's and so obviously a lot of these companies are either just starting or are coming out through the difficult times of the pandemic. And what we're doing is resonating with them, and they see the value in participating in shows like these. Or really, the beauty of the SFA is that because we're a not-for-profit trade association, we work with the members year-round, and we create connections for them. And the other thing that's probably not spoken enough about is this community of members are so helpful to each other. And I can't tell you how many times I've picked up the phone, asked a member, like in the Virginia area, do you have an attorney that this other member is looking for? And they're so willing to help each other out. And that's what's great about being part of the membership. But, to your question as how it's evolved, what we're finding is that, and this was, this is one of our sort of stakes in the ground with our strategic plan, is to create a more diverse and inclusive environment and membership. So we're seeing, many more minority-owned companies joining the organization, but not only diversity in that regard, but we're also having more international companies join the membership as well as buyer members. So it's really, we're kind of filling some of the gaps that we had in prior years where maybe we didn't do a good enough job of creating diversity or attracting international members, but it's all coming together. And like I said, this past year was just, we were overwhelmed with the response from the food industry and the companies becoming members. So we're really proud of the work we've done.
As you should. I mean, what an astounding number.
Yeah, it is amazing.
In such a short amount of time.
And again, a tribute to the staff who work really hard.
Absolutely.
And we really emphasize relationships because, our staff are out there, they're speaking to the members, and, we take a sort of a consultative approach, whereas the members and prospective members are not hearing from us only when we want to try to sell them something. It's more about like, how can we help you? And then if we have a product or service that can help them, great. If not, we've got no problem directing them to another industry event or a resource, because at the end of the day, we want what's best for the members. And so I think that sort of resonates with everybody.
That's true evidence that you do focus on the priorities and the needs of the member, of the exhibitor or the buyer, right? You cater to all within the specialty food industry. Yeah. That was awesome. Bill Lynch, president of SFA, the Specialty Food Association. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Susan. Great to be on with you. And thanks again for your support, the Food Institute support. Just love our partnership, and looking forward to the summer show, June 25th through 27th.
That's right. June 25th to June 27th, 2023, coming back at you at the Big Apple. The city's so nice they named it twice. New York. You heard it from him. Don't miss it. Yes, thank you so much. Well, that is it. That is the end of our wonderful Day 2 show coverage here at the 47th Annual Winter Fancy Foods Show 2023, brought to you by the Specialty Food Association. If you haven't already, what are you waiting for? www.specialtyfood.com to find out more about this wonderful organization, maybe to become a member, maybe to find out more, engage in the educational resources. You want to do it. Go over there and click. My name is Susan Choi, and I am so happy to have had you on the program as a viewer. I hope to see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place, on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube for Day 3 of live coverage. Thank you so much again for joining us. I hope you have a great day. Take care.